And I invite all members to debate the budget. All motions contained in items 7.1 to 7.4. I remind you all of the need to avoid repetition. So now, Councillor Baldwin.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you for the kind consideration regarding the microphone arrangements. Unlike all of the 23 members opposite, and I've never been a member of the Conservative Party. Therefore, I have not had the opportunity to attend Tory councillors' school and take any one or more of the beginner, intermediate or advanced classes in political euphemism. So if, from this land, I occasionally forget to call financial incompetence fiscal conservatism and err by referring to budget cuts instead of transformations or efficiencies, please accept my apologies in advance. What a turbulent 9 or 10 months it has been. As the lead councillor for finance so piquantly commented, if only I had known then what I know now. I have in the recent past been accused by the now leader of the council, no less, of being naive. Fair enough. But I am a first-time councillor. What excuse can a 20-year veteran possibly have? The lead for finance has been around since, I believe he said it was 2001. And I know him to be a diligent attender to his duties. How can he plausibly claim to have been unaware of the looming crisis? These budget proposals, at least one of which I will comment on in more detail later, are a summary of the folly of the last 13 years. The deafness induced by huge Tory majorities led you all to ignore the prescient warnings of the few voices that saw the future more clearly than you. My colleagues, Councillor Werner and Councillor Jones, were routinely mocked for their Cassandra-like predictions. I, for one, would forgive them a very well-earned chorus or two of "I told you so." Yet they know the stakes are too high for petty recriminations. The residents of the Royal Borough deserve to have a council that utilises the best of all of its talents, drawn from all 41 members. The leader of the council promised a more collegiate approach. Now would appear to be a very good moment to deliver on that promise. My contribution to this region would be to propose the immediate imposition of a 15% rate of community infrastructure levy on all future Maidenhead town centre developments. The contribution of SIL to the capital budget is enormously significant. Yet this council has allowed a zero rate to apply in the area of greatest development density. Why? This is a tax that's levied everywhere else throughout the borough. I don't sense a lack of eagerness to develop in Windsor, or Ascot, Bray, Cookham, and most certainly not in Oldfield Ward. Why should Maidenhead Town Centre be so singular, so exceptional? Property developers take the long view. A one-off tax paid at the start of the development's economic life is no barrier to progress, merely another cost to be absorbed over the lifetime of the asset. Now, no one keeps account of the taxes one did not choose to collect. However, a rough average of 7,500 on each of 1,200 dwellings seems about right. That's £9 million. £9 million in uncollected capital receipts that could be sat in our capital budget now. It's long over time to end this subsidy to wealthy outside corporations. Thank you.
You indicated?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Less than 1 year ago, we had local council elections, and although the administration between May and now might be the same, with one notable exception, the policies could not be further away from what was promised. Monday today is Shrove Tuesday, otherwise known as Pancake Day. So I will try to refrain from doing the obvious jokes about the budget being a lemon or from the budget going down like a black pancake. Instead, I want to focus on what residents were told versus what they will get with this budget. Not long ago, Councillor Johnson was seen grinning with delight whilst crouched down next to a pothole he helped fill as part of the 24-hour pothole pledge, one from the manifesto that you all stood on. Now that promise has been forgotten. Cabinet members not long ago jumped for joy at the ability to use the potential new Oaks Leisure Centre in Sunningdale, yet there is no budget for this anywhere in the reports. Providing funding for at least 25 community wardens was again in the Conservative manifesto, which is why we're now seeing those numbers reduced to 19. The budget doesn't mention the expansion of Windsor Leisure Centre. I assume that's another Conservative pledge that has been broken. And you also mentioned supporting neighbourhood planning groups, although the recent decision to say no to the Neighbourhood Forum may cast light on even that. All of these broken pledges have let a lot of people down. Administration with an agenda that is so different from what people voted for in May. The Cabinet may look broadly the same, but a new captain has taken the helm, and residents are going to be going in a very, very different direction to what they bought the ticket for. This is not a budget that subscribes to anything that the Conservatives put forward in their local election manifesto, and therefore it's not one that any Conservative should be voting for. It's definitely not one the opposition will be voting for. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Carol Costa.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to start by saying how we have excellent officers leading both adults and children's services. And I welcome the Ofsted report showing that achievement for children are now good. The challenge is that we at least remain good or aspire to improve further despite the cuts in funding in universal services that are proposed in the current consultation. I've seen in the reports in the budget showing that consultations have taken place and have not always been taken into account. I do urge that we look at this consultation and that we do listen to the parents that we're talking to and our service users. My main concern is that the borough will be very reliant on church and voluntary and community groups to provide the universal services that are being provided by the borough currently. I worry about training of youth leaders and of the early years provision. These voluntary groups do not have the training to understand all safeguarding issues. And I would like to ask that we would, as a council, provide training to these group leaders so that they are able to recognise things such as domestic violence, social isolation, behaviour difficulties, delayed in development, just to name a few examples. I've done some of the church training on safeguarding, and I've also done NHS training on safeguarding, and they are very, very different. My fear is that a child or a family in need will slip through the net if these voluntary groups are not adequately trained to pick up and recognise a child in need. So we've been told we need to come up with a solution, so I'm going to offer you one. I'm going to be so bold as to suggest that we get rid of the wine in the Mayor's Parlour after full council meeting and refreshments, and that my members and myself find another way of socialising and talking after full council, and that maybe that money can go towards training these people. Thank you.
Councillor Raymond?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Fellow councillors, tonight we are discussing a budget which is critical to the future of the Royal Borough. Thank you to Councillor Hilton, Peter Robinson, Ruth Watkins and the finance team and all the officers throughout the council who worked so hard to deliver a balanced budget in light of rising adult and children's social costs. This budget shows the council's commitment to transformation with IT. This began this year with our move into the modern workplace rollout, phase 1, putting in new computers and screens across many departments in the Royal Borough. This has been a huge success, increasing the capabilities and effectiveness of many departments. This will continue in 2021 as the whole organisation updates with a final wave with £800,000 for phase 2. This is investing in our officers and teams. Braewick Leisure Centre will complete in this year with the opening on the 5th of September 2020. The progress is now evident and looking stunning. This leisure centre will provide outstanding sport and community facilities to our residents and secure its future as the magnet is at its end of its life. As we leave the magnet, the demolition will begin and the project for the building of much needed homes on the St Cloud site will begin. The jewel in our crown is Windsor. Windsor, like many towns, has seen a decline in the high street and a change in how people spend their leisure time and how they shop. We are fortunate the castle is the most popular of all the Royal Estate properties, and so Windsor is changing. So we are reacting to these new habits and environment. This budget, through the local enterprise partnership, is putting funding for £1.563 million to improve the public realm in Windsor and making better the visitor and local experience in the town. This will be the beginning of the revitalising and preparing of our much-loved town of Windsor for the future, which is vital for our economy and businesses. The businesses are a key strategic partner as we develop these plans. We are fortunate to have so many local and international businesses in the Royal Borough who are committed to it. Moving forward, we hope to work much more closely with them and to work on projects to develop our economy and our community. With this budget, there have been challenges for the officers and lead members to find savings and income in their service areas. I would like to thank the libraries and resident services led by Louise Spree and Angela Houseman who have worked with me. I'm impressed by their professionalism in protecting our residents and vulnerable and allow RBWM to still be one of the best library services in the country based on the number of open hours by population, and locally we are the best. The proposal is to reduce the opening hours. One of these changes is to open every day apart from Sunday. There will be some evening opening but reduced from the current times. We recognise how important the library is and how important it is for our residents. We are supported by excellent footfall, digital and physical book loan numbers. The other proposal is to move customer service from York House, where it was originally, before the development of York House. The move to the library at Windsor was so successful that people are still choosing that in preference to York House. The team also look after resident and parking permits, At the moment, we have a team of 4 administering and issuing permits. There are 4,600 households with permits and 6,684 active permits in circulation, which at the moment we receive no administration costs or any enforcement administration costs. This proposed scheme is to cover this with a fee of £50 for the first permit and £70 for second permits. This puts us in line with other councils locally. For example, Runnymede charges £50 for the first car and £70 for the second. Guildford is £50 and £80, Reading is £40 and £150. To promote the environment and electric cars, we will not charge for fully electric cars. This will also help give us data for future electric charging points across the borough. And in 2013, it was actually £35. This budget is about a lot of change, but there are also many opportunities to be better. We have a vision of the developing Royal Borough for the future, and with our officers, we are passionate to continue to serve, always improving, protecting our vulnerable, and making the Royal Borough the best place to live and work. Thank you.
Councillor Burke?
Sorry, no, I was expecting the constituency ones.
Okay, all right. Councillor Dale Campbell?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. When we declare that we're going to transform early years and youth services to be targeted at the most vulnerable, the statement is disingenuous in a number of ways. The euphemistic use of the word transformation suggests we're about to see a massive improvement to our services, but what we're actually talking about is a reduction in investment in service levels in some areas, so let's be honest about that. And while none of us would disagree with the idea of supporting our most vulnerable residents, my question has always been, how do we identify those people who are not yet on the radar? Up to now, we've cast the net as far and wide as possible, but now we're asking the fish to make their own way to the boat, and many won't come. By concentrating services in 2 hubs, we're forcing people who don't have cars onto public transport. When you're in crisis, it can sometimes be all you can do to get out the front door, never mind having to navigate an unreliable public transport system. Again, many won't come. And I've said this before as well, but it's worth repeating for the record. Many of the issues families encounter are hidden. People don't tend to talk openly about domestic abuse, drug or alcohol abuse, or financial worries, but specially trained staff at local drop-in centres, like our children's centres, are able to spot these, spot the signs and signpost people to the correct support. I disagree with the assumption that these people will look to the private sector instead. Some are living with the effects of austerity and 0 hours contracts. They won't come and they won't get the support they need. And it does seem strange to be voting on this now without knowing the outcome of the consultation. This does mean that if the consultation throws up an unexpected result, we may not have the resources to deliver what residents are asking for. I must also talk about the results of the recent Ofsted inspection of children's services and the borough's SEND provision. I join others in congratulating the teams and the individuals who've worked so hard to turn things around, and nothing I'm about to say should take away from their achievements. However, we must acknowledge there's still much to be done. We know that after children's services received a requires improvement judgment in 2015, things got significantly worse before they got better. And this means that the baseline that we're working from is actually lower than requires improvement. This is perhaps why Ofsted noticed that the legacy of poor practice is still evident for children in some areas of the service. No, it's not done. Staff turnover is still a massive issue, and according to Ofsted, work to address services to care leavers is still in its infancy. On our SEND provision, progress has been made since the last Ofsted inspection. It was described by Ofsted as sufficient, not significant, as reported on social media, but it's progress on the same. Parents are still voicing frustration, however, at the time it's taken to get appropriate support in place for their children. It's vital then that we continue to drive forward improvements to our children's services and our SEND offerings without losing any momentum, to avoid a whole generation of young people missing out on the opportunity to live their best lives. I fear though that the progress that's being made and is still yet to be made will be derailed without adequate investment. We all know that this year's cuts are just the beginning and that savings will need to be made year on year to give us the best chance of avoiding financial disaster. And even then, a single unexpected event could send us over the line. The Conservatives have had 12 years to get this right. Far from building a borough for everyone, as they promised, we're left with a borough where those with all but the severest needs are left to fend for themselves, and they'll feel the effects of that neglect for the rest of their lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We spent some time earlier this evening talking about money for training. I now regret in some ways that I voted against it. Because what I've heard only a few minutes ago, there's a major need for training. Training opposite me and the opposition. Let me tell you about SIL. The SIL rate is determined in an inspection and is determined by an inspector, not us. It is that person who makes the decision based on the evidence of the need and what happens. That is why we have zero SIL. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I haven't got a pre-prepared speech. I am just upset about what's been left out of the budget. Twice we have heard about the River Thames scheme, which will protect the people of Datchet, Horton and Wraysbury. The water of Maidenhead goes down the Jubilee River quicker, and it ends up in Datchet and everywhere downstream. It goes right out of the county and on down the Thames, and it floods everybody. We have heard twice about this council supporting the River Thames scheme to the tune of £10 million. But I will tell you now that sum should be £50 million, to the best of my knowledge. The River Thames scheme is £640 million, and my best guess is that it goes up at £1 million a week in cost terms, every week that it is delayed. It started off at 230 million, and it is now 640. So this council, I think, has to find another £40 million. And I'm very interested to know where it will come from. The original scheme was funded, the original the original Jubilee River was funded by government money, and that was about £100 million. And it had design flaws. And it was the wrong sort of strategy because it was just a bit in the middle. And it fell apart the first time it ran. And it cost a lot to repair. And it only works at 2/3 of its capacity. So the original cost-benefit calculations were never achieved. Here we are, going round the same loop again. The people of Datchet, Horton and Wraysbury believe this scheme is coming. And I think so do the people of Surrey. Surrey are talking about having to borrow £270 million. But they are a county council, not a unitary authority. So really, it's not much money to them. I still need answers, so I'll put a question in, and I hope I'll get the answer maybe later. Thank you.
Councillor Dixie.
So we're told that many of the proposals before us are not cuts at all, but transformation. Some supposedly motivated by environmental concern, and also that we've been told they would be planned even if the finances weren't in disarray. If that's true, what kind of a council would willingly vote to close some children's centres, like the ones in my ward. If money were not the main concern, who on earth would be slashing universal services which could provide local, easily accessible support to families, or deliberately price people out of using their town centres? I find it really hard to believe that this administration didn't know we were headed for serious financial difficulty. Like that famous iceberg, they should have seen it coming.